guys, we are back for another day of Read Along with Alane, and we are reading from The Blue Witch. Now this week I have a little visitor. He's from storymonsters.com, and it's a great website. You can go check out some resources for parents and teachers, and there's some really fun activities for kids. So if you guys are curious, go check it out, all right? Now, we left off with chapter 20, which was a really good chapter. Hugo was out in the swamps and he ran right into the Viking, which he tricked into falling into the quicksand bog. So clever Hugo for taking care of the Viking. And they left off with saying that they had found the Blue Witch. So all right, we're going to pick up with chapter 21. I can't wait, all right? So after a night shivering in one corner of the nest, Abigail woke up tired and hungry. She had hurled magic at the obstinate egg over and over, but no matter how hard she tried, her magic hadn't made the tiniest crack in the speckled shell. She wished Hugo was here. He would pull out his trusty journal and come up with a solution for cracking this egg open, because she certainly didn't have one. Feeling thirsty, Abigail climbed out of the nest and wandered over to the stream that trickled down the back wall of the eyrie. She cupped hand and drank deeply, then splashed her face, washing the grime away. Her braids had come undone, and she had lost one of the ties, so she settled for tying her hair back in a ponytail. Out of the corner of her eye, she caught Big Mama, the mother Omera, studying her. The two hatchlings were napping. Abigail had named the nasty one that kept nipping at her ankles Vexer, after her head mistress, and the nice one she had dubbed Waxer. She turned her face to the sun, letting the rays bathe her. She needed something to make her magic stronger, something to amplify it. But what? If only she had Jasper's sea emerald, it might help. Waxer waddled over on gangly legs and butted its head up next to her. She scratched its scaly black nose. "Any ideas?" she asked. It looked up at her with ebony eyes and chuffed softly. She sighed. "Yeah, me neither." She folded her arms and leaned against the stone. She started daydreaming, imagining she was sitting under the jukeberry tree, laughing with Hugo. "Abigail?" She smiled, keeping her eyes closed. Now she really was imagining things. It had sounded as if Hugo were calling her name. Maybe hunger was making her hallucinate. "Abigail?" Her eyes flew open. She hadn't imagined that. It was Hugo's voice, faint but definitely close by. She ran to the ledge and looked over. She almost fainted. Climbing the cliff face was an unlikely trio led by Jasper, who was pulling himself up with wiry arms. Behind him, the little scamp Fetch hopped rock to rock. Then came Hugo. He waved at her. She wanted to wave back, but instead she shouted, cupping her hands so her voice would carry. "Are you crazy? What if you fall?" But she grinned so wide her face hurt. He had come for her. For some reason that made her want to sing. Big Mama wasn't so happy to have visitors. She launched herself off the ledge and soared in a circle, then folded her wings and dive-bombed the intruders. Abigail screamed a warning, but Hugo held up something shiny in his hand. It was the sea emerald. The sunlight caught it just right, and it sent out a blaze of green light that blinded Big Mama. The Omera reared back, flapping her wings, and spun away to make another circle. "Hurry," Abigail called, "before she comes back." Vexer took advantage of Abigail's distraction and nipped her on the calf. She whirled, sending out a blast of witch fire, strong enough to make the hatchling yelp. "Do that again, and I'll sizzle your tail off." Wisely, it went running behind the nest. Waxer waddled up beside her, bleating encouragement. The trio of rescuers were close. Jasper's elbow landed on the ledge. Abigail grasped his shoulders and helped him over. Then came Fetch. The creature nimbly flipped himself up, landing on 2 feet. Abigail went back for Hugo, but the boy had frozen in place, out of reach. She lifted her head and saw the reason. Another O'Mara was coming straight for him. It was a different one, even larger, with brawny shoulders. Jagged teeth glinted in the sunlight. Abigail couldn't be sure, but she had a feeling this was Big Daddy. Its wings pounded, and it roared as it stretched its head out. Jaws open, ready to devour Hugo in one snap. No! Abigail planted her feet and thrust her palms forward, determined to save her friend. A steady stream of blue fire shot out. Though her magic was growing stronger, the sizzle didn't even dent the O'Mara's thick hide. The flying beast kept coming. Jasper leaned out over the ledge. "Quick, boy, give me your hand!" Hugo snapped out of it, scrambling higher to reach Jasper's outstretched hand. The sailor pulled him up onto the ledge with one mighty heave. They huddled as the monstrous O'Mara bore down on them. There was nowhere to hide, nowhere to run. They were as good as dead. And then Waxer waddled in front of them and flared its frail wings, opening its mouth to squawk at its daddy. The big O'Mara's eyes widened in shock. It tried to pull up, but it was coming too fast. It veered over their heads and crashed into the back wall, slumping to the ground with a loud oomph. "You saved us, Waxer!" Abigail gave the baby O'Mara a hug. "Don't I get a hug?" Hugo's face was red and sweaty. His school uniform was in shreds. He had mud everywhere. A scratch marred his cheek, and his glasses were on crooked. He was a sorry mess, but Abigail had never been so happy to see another person in her whole life. She flung her arms around him and squeezed him tight. "I can't believe you came to rescue me." "Of course I came. You're my best friend." His eyes slid away from hers. I heard what you said to the other girls." "You heard that?" she groaned. "I'm sorry I was such a jerk." "That's all right, as long as, that is, you didn't mean it, did you?" He gave her a hopeful look. She punched him on the arm. "Don't be a dope, silly." Jasper put his hand on her shoulder. "You're all right, lass. They haven't harmed you." She shook her head. "Big Mama wants me to help hatch one of her eggs, but so far my magic hasn't been able to even scratch it." "Well, we'd better think of something quick before that giant O'Mara wakes up," Hugo said. "I don't think he'll be very forgiving." Big Mama thudded down on the ledge, eying the stranger warily as she called to her baby. Waxer left Abigail looking sadly over its shoulder and waddled over. The protected O'Mara shooed her babies behind her. But where was Fetch? The unhatched O'Mara egg, speckled blue and the size of a small boulder, appeared at the top of the nest. Behind it, Abigail could see Fetch pushing with his scrawny arms. The egg teetered, then dropped, hitting the stone ledge. It bounced twice, rolling dangerously close to the edge. Big Mama panicked, rushing forward, but Hugo dove and grabbed it with both hands, stopping the precious egg before it fell. There were several sighs of relief. The O'Mara nudged her egg to the center of the ledge and then settled down beside it. Her eyes were more worried than ever. Abigail put her hands on the shell. It was still warm, but she placed her ear to the shell, listening. The heartbeat was slowing down. She looked up at the sailor. "Please, we have to do something." Jasper rubbed his chin. "You say your magic won't open it." She shook her head. "I've tried throwing witchfire at it over and over." Jasper scowled. "That's not your only magic, child. You need to dig deeper. Find your true magic, the magic of your father." "What are you talking about?" Abigail asked. Jasper took a deep breath. "Long ago, the mighty Thor was traveling in the icy north with a companion, a giant named Arvindale the Brave. Thor carried him in a basket on his back. One of Arvindale's toes stuck out and froze. Thor broke off the toe and threw it into the sky, and it became the star we call Rigel." Abigail's head swirled with confusion. "What does that have to do with my magic?" "Rigel was the name of the sailor who washed up to shore. Abigail, I believe your father is the morning star. The proof is in your witchfire. It burns the same cerulean blue as the star." "But how is that possible?" Hugo asked. "With the gods, all things are possible," Fetch pronounced, one finger in the air. Then he took Abigail's hand in his soft paw. "If you but believe." "I used to see your mother walking the shoreline, her eyes on the stars," Jasper added. "I don't know if it was her magic that did it or his, but whatever it was, Rigel descended and left you with a powerful gift." Big Daddy moaned and began to stir. "Abigail, it's now or never," Hugo said. "Okay, don't rush me." She ran her hands over the egg one more time. "Don't think about it," Jasper urged. "Your father's magic is in there. Open the door that's blocking it." Abigail cleared her throat, dug the toes of her boot into the stone, and tried to think of her magic. But her mind was blank. She couldn't even draw up a trickle of witchfire, let alone find a cure for this stubborn hatchling. Frustration rose in her. She was going to fail, and they were all going to die here on this ledge. Oh, well, that's a dramatic way to end the chapter, right? We're all going to die here on this ledge. Oh, it was a long chapter, but I really liked it. So Jasper, Fetch, and Hugo arrived to save the day, but Big Daddy arrives and he starts to attack them and he's going to destroy them. But Waxer, one of the little O'Maras, stands in front and says, "No, Dad, don't do that." And so the Big Daddy crashes into the back wall and he's knocked unconscious. And now Jasper tells a really interesting story that he thinks that Abigail's father is this character named Arvindale the Brave, right? And the story in mythology is that Arvindale was traveling with Thor in the frozen north, and his big toe froze, and Thor, who was a good friend of this giant, broke it off, which sounds kind of gross, I know, and threw it up into the sky, and it became a star. So kind of an interesting story. That's Norse mythology for you. And now they think that this star somehow came back to Earth and met Abigail's mother and fell in love with her. So I really like that chapter. It's really cool. So now they're telling her that she has a different kind of magic that came from her father and she has to find it. So we don't know if she's going to be able to do that or not. So I can't wait to come back tomorrow and read you guys chapter 22. So all right, that is it for today. Long chapter. I hope you guys had fun today. I hope you guys are being able to get outside, having some fun, doing some of the worksheets that are in the link in the description. And otherwise, all right, Miss Alane will be back tomorrow to read you another chapter. And until then, stay well, stay healthy, stay happy, wash your hands, and Miss Alane will see you tomorrow, all right? Alane out.